So this is question number 12. We have the second theorem question over here, and we want to find the value of m and n. So we're given that the quadrilateral EADC is a rhombus. So this quadrilateral over here is a rhombus. Now we have to use the properties of the circle or circle theorems. We know the angle at the center is 2 times the angle on the circumference. So the angle on the circumference here is m. Therefore this angle over here is 2m. Now also recall that one of the properties of the rhombus, because this is a rhombus, the opposite angles of a rhombus are the same. So this is also 2m. Now we have to use the cyclic quadrilateral. This is a cyclic quadrilateral. We use that property. Therefore the angle over here, the opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral must add up to 180. So this angle plus this angle must give us 180 degrees. So this means that 3m is equal to 180. Now we divide through by 3 to get m is equal to 60 degrees. So right away we found the value of m. We are now left with the value of n. Now note that since this is 60, this will be 120 degrees. So if this is 120 degrees, this is a radius of a circle, this is also a radius of this circle. Therefore it is an isosceles triangle. The base angle of this isosceles triangle are equal. So if this is 120, 2 times 60 will give us 120. So this angle is 120. Therefore we must get the rest to be 60. And since they are equal, each of them must be 30, 30. So 30 here and 30 here. So we know that the angle in a triangle should add up to 180. The angle in a triangle, so this angle and this whole angle and this whole angle here should give us 180. Therefore we have n plus 30 so this is this one, then another n plus 30, then plus this m, which we know to be 60, so plus m, the m is 60, so we just substitute it direct, is equal to 180. So let's add. We know 30 plus 30 plus 60, that will give us 120. N plus n will give us 2n. 2n is equal to 180 minus this plus this plus this is 120. I'm skipping steps, but I'm doing it in such a way that you still understand it. So we have 2n is equal to 60. So if you divide both sides by 2, we get n to be equal to 30. So n is 30 degrees. Now we need to do the second part of the question. Find a quadratic equation whose roots are 3 over 4 and negative 4. So let me use a new page. So over here, we were told that the solution after we finish solving the quadratic equation is x is equal to 3 over 4 and x is equal to negative 4. So we want to work back so that we can find the equation that we solve to get this root. That is the meaning of the question. So for this one we are going to do backward substitution, or we are going to work backwards. So we just, let's multiply this. Let's multiply through by 4. We're going to get 4x over here. 4x is equal to 3 on this side. Then we are going to get, for this part, still x is equal to negative 4. Now because we are moving backwards, so let's send everything to the left hand side so that we are left with nothing on the right hand side. So we are going to get 4x over here minus 3 is equal to 0. Then we have x plus 4 is equal to 0. So now let's multiply the left hand side by the left hand side. Then we multiply the right hand side by the right hand side. So we are going to get 4x minus 3 times x plus 4 is equal to 0. So now we have to expand. 4x times x will give us 4x squared. Then 4x times 4 will give us plus 16x. Now negative 3 times x will give us minus 3x. Then negative 3 times 4 will give us minus 12 is equal to 0. So this is very easy to do. Now let's simplify. We get 4x squared plus, now 16 minus 3 is 13, plus 13x minus 12 is equal to 0. So this is actually the equation that we are looking for. This is the equation we are looking for. We have another way of doing it. That's when we use the formula. The formula is x squared minus sum of root. So sum of root is, so sum of roots so sum of root times x, then plus product of root. This formula you can keep it in your head and use it. So you choose any of them is equal to 0 and use. So we have x squared. Sum of root is we add 3 over 4 and negative 4. Three over 4 plus negative 4. Then product of root. We multiply negative 4 by 3 over 4. Now we have to simplify this. So when we simplify this, we get 13 over 4. (13/4x) minus 3 is equal to 0. Now we multiply through by 4 to get 4x squared plus 13x minus 12 is equal to 0. So we are getting the same result. So choose the one that is good for you.
Question 1a. Find the true value. Find the value of x in the expression 3 to the power 2x plus 1 all over 3 to the power 3x minus 4 times 3 to the power 6 minus 7x equal 27 raised to the power x. Now we find a common base that we can express all the numbers to a certain index. And how do we get that base? Is the highest common factor of 3 and 27. So the highest common factor of 3 and 27 is 3. So we express all the bases to all the numbers to a base 3 to a certain index. So all these ones are already in base 3, so we express this as a base 3 number. So we have 3 raised to the power 2x plus 1 all over 3 to the power 3x minus 4 times 3 to the power 6 minus 7x is equal to 3 to the power 3 will give us 27, and there's already an x over there, so we are applying the laws of indices. So this will give us 3 to the power 2x plus 1 all over. Now the common base are multiplying, so we add the exponent. So the laws of indices for you: 3x minus 4 plus 6 minus 7x is equal to 3 to the power 3x. So this will imply that we have 3 to the power 2x plus 1 all over 3 to the power 3x minus 7x will give us negative 4x. So negative 4x. Then we have negative 4 plus positive 6 will give us positive 2. Is equal to 3 to the power 3x. Now we further simplify. This time the bases are dividing, so we subtract the exponents. So 3 to the power 2x plus 1. Then we subtract the exponent minus negative 4x. So negative 4x plus 2 is equal to 3 to the power 3x. So now what do we do next is to simplify to get 3 to the power 2x minus 4x will give us negative 2x minus 4x will give us positive 6x. So positive 6x, then 1 minus 2 will give us negative 1 is equal to 3 to the power 3x. So we have 3 to the power 6x minus 1 equal 3 to the power 3x. So the next thing we do is to equate the bases. Since the bases are the same, we equate the exponents. So we get 6x minus 1 is equal to 3x. So this will give us 6x minus 3x is equal to 1. So we get 3x to be equal to 1. Dividing through by 3, we obtain x to be equal to 1 over 3. Then the b aspect. Without using tables or calculator, simplify 1 over 3 log 125 over 8, then minus 2 log 2 over 5 plus log 80 over 125. Now we use this law of logarithm, which says that if you have a number multiplying a logarithm, let's say logarithm base a of m, and the same as log of a m to the power n. We are going to apply this. So this is now our n. So we obtain this will now be equal to, this whole thing will now be equal to log 125 over 8 to the power 1 over 3 minus log, the same thing applies over here, 2 over 5 all to the power 2 plus log 80 over 125. Now this will be equal to, now we know that there is a denominator of 3. This function is having a denominator of 3. So we express this to a power 3. So this will be equal to log 5 to the power 3 over 2 to the power 3 all to the power 1 over 3. Then minus, we apply the law of indices again. This will multiply this to give us, we share the exponent for them to get 2 exponent 2 over 5 exponent 2 plus log 80 over 125. So this will give us log 5 over 2 to the power 3 times, there's a 1 over 3 over there, then minus log 4 over 25, then plus log 80 over 125. So this will cancel this now. You're left with 1 over there. So we have log 5 over 2 minus log 4 over 25 plus log 80 over 125. So this will be equal to log 5 over 2 divided by 4 over 25. Then plus log 80 over 125. So this is the same as log 5 over 2. Let's simplify this, times 25 over 4 plus this logarithm 80 over 125. So this will give us log 125 over 8 plus log 80 over 125. Now this will give us log 125 over 8 times 80 over 125. So this will cancel this, then 8 will go into this 10 times, so we are left with log 10. But we know that we are solving base 10, so log of the base will give us 1.
The number of green, red, white, and black identical balls contained in a bag is as shown in a table. So the green balls are 2, and red balls are 4, white are 3, and then black balls is only 1. So if 2 balls are selected at random without replacement, find the probability that both balls are green. So even though we are choosing 2 balls at random, we assume that we choose one, that is the first one, after that we choose the second one. So the sample spaces are going to change. For instance, if you choose the first green ball, then the probability of choosing the green ball will be 2 over 10, because there are 10 balls over here in total, and the green are only 2. Then if you should choose a second green ball, probability is not going to be the same as this, because the number of balls has reduced to 9 and the number of green balls has reduced to 1. So the probability of choosing a green ball from the 9 will be 1 over 9. So now the probability of choosing both balls to be green without replacing it will be equal to the first probability, that is 2 over 10, and the second probability, which is 1 over 9. And this will give us 2 over 90, and we simplify to get 1 over 45. In a test, if a student has scored 80 marks in one of the subjects, his average mark in 8 subjects would be 62. You have scored 64 marks in that same subject with the same scores in the remaining 7 subjects unchanged. The average mark would be m. Find the value of m. So we have 80 marks here. We have scored 80 marks. His average, which is the mean mark, would have been equal to 62. And we know that the mean, we found it by summing up all the scores the person had in the subject, which is sigma x, and we divide it by the number of subjects, which is 8, and this gave us 62. So if you are looking for the total mark that he scored before we divide it, then we should multiply through by 8. So our sigma x will be equal to 8 times 62, and this will give us 496 total marks. Now, if he has scored 64, marks, then his total marks wouldn't have been up to 496. Total marks would have been 496 minus the difference between 80 and 64, which is 16 over 8. And this would have given us the m. So we know that our m will now be equal to 480 divided by 8. 480 divided by 8, and this would have given us 60 marks. So the m is equal to 60 marks, meaning that you would have scored an average mark of 60. You have scored 64 in one of the subjects.
Question 7a. This is a diagram, and we're given that this angle is 90 degrees. These two angles are 30 degrees. This is 150 meters. We are asked to find the value of h. So using triangle QRS, or triangle RSQ, we're asked to find h, and we know that RS is on PS, which is having a certain measure. So we use RS, the ratio involving RS and h, and that will be the tangent ratio. So the tangent of the angle 30 degrees will be equal to opposite, which is RS, over the adjacent, which is h. So we can make RS the subject to obtain length of RS is equal to h tan 30 degrees. Now let's call this an equation. Let's call this equation 1. Then also we know that from triangle PSQ, the tangent of the angle 30 degrees, which is this angle over here, tan 30 degrees, will be equal to opposite, which is h, over adjacent, which is PS. So we make PS the subject to obtain PS to be equal to h over tan 30 degrees. H over tan 30 degrees. I know you know change of subject very well. So, but we know that PS is involving RS, which we have made a subject over here already. So let's write PS in terms of RS and 150 meters. So we are going to get PS to be 150 meters, plus RS
is equal to h over tan 30 degrees. Now we make Rs the subject to obtain Rs to be equal to h tan 30 degrees, h tan 30 degrees minus 150 meters. So minus 150. Then let's call this equation 2. Now because Rs are equal, or equation 1 is equal to equation 2, implies that h tan 30 h tan 30 is equal to h over tan 30 minus 150 So now we multiply through by tan 30 degrees to obtain h tan 30 times tan 30 is equal to h minus 150 h minus 150 tan 30. So we simplify this to get h tan square 30 h tan square 30 is equal to h minus 150 tan 30. Now we want to make h the subject, so we group like terms to obtain 150 tan 30 is equal to h minus h tan square 30 h tan squared 30. So we have 150 tan 30 is equal to h into bracket 1 minus tan square 30. So now we make h the subject by dividing through by 1 minus tan square 30, 1 minus tan square 30. And this one to over 1 minus tan squared 30. So this will cancel this. Then we are left with h. H is equal to, now if you use your calculator on this, you are going to obtain 75 root 3. 75 root 3 meters, which is equal to 129.9 meters, 0.90 meters. Then this will be equal to 130 meters to the nearest whole number. 130 meters to the nearest whole number. Now the B aspect. We're given that SR is a tangent and the reference angle over here is 252 degrees. Then this angle over here is 79 degrees. And we are asked to calculate angle QRS, that is, we are finding the value of x. Now to do this,
To find the value of x, we need to know the value of this angle, because they are in, all of them are in the same triangle. So let's call this angle y. Now we know that this angle will be equal to this angle over here when we extend, or when we produce PS, because angles in alternate segments are equal. So to find the value of y, we need to know this small angle and this small angle. We add it together to find the value of y. But we know that now to find the value of y, we can use this angle over here. We need to know this angle over here, and this angle is half of the angle over here. So we need to find angle POS. Angle POS will be equal to 360 minus 252, and this will be equal to 108 degrees. So angle PQS will be equal to, angle PQS will be equal to half of 108, and this will be equal to 54 degrees. So if this is 54 degrees, then these two angles, we can find them. This angle 2 is equal to y. This angle 2 is equal to y. Because PQ is equal to QS. PQ is equal to QS. So using triangle PQS, we know that 2y plus this angle over here, which is 54 degrees, should be equal to 180. Now 2y will be equal to 180 minus 54. 2y will now be equal to 126 degrees. So y will be equal to 63 degrees. So if y is equal to 63 degrees, then we must have y plus 79 plus x to be equal to 180. So 79 plus 63. So we have 63 plus 79 plus x equal 180. Therefore, we have x is equal to 180 minus 142. and this will give us 38 degrees. Hence, the value of x is equal to 38 degrees. Question 10a. We're given the arithmetic sequence -6, -2.5, 1, and the last term of the sequence is 71. And we are asked to find the common difference. You know the common difference D is equal to the subsequent term minus the previous terms, So let's say the subsequent term is 1 and the previous term will be -2.5. So this will be equal to 1 plus 2.5, and this will be equal to 3 whole number 1/2, or 7/2. Now we know that we have to find II, the number of terms in the sequence. So we know our first term to be equal to -6, and we know our last term to be equal to 71. We know our common difference to be equal to 7/2. So we use the relation U sub n is equal to A plus n minus 1D. So we have 71 is equal to -6 plus into bracket n minus 1 times 7/2. We create a fraction by multiplying through by 2 to obtain 2 times 71 will give us 142 is equal to 2 times this will give us -12, then plus 7 into bracket n minus 1 d, n minus 1, 7 into bracket n minus 1. Now we group like terms to obtain 142 plus 12 is equal to 7 into bracket n minus 1. Now this will give us 154 is equal to 7 into bracket n minus 1. We divide both sides by 7. So 7 going to this 22 times, then this will give us, this will cancel this, then we are left with n minus 1. So our n will now be equal to 22 plus 1, which is 23. So we have 23 terms in the sequence. Now let's analyze the B. The difference between the third and first terms of a geometric progression is 42. We know the first term of a geometric progression is given by A, then the second term is given by AR, the third term is given by AR to the power 2, then the fourth term is given by AR to the power 3, and the general term is given by AR to the power n minus 1. That's the general term of a geometric sequence. Now they are saying that the difference between the first and the difference between the third and the first term is 42. So this minus this is 42. So we have AR squared minus A is equal to 42. We can rewrite this as A into bracket R squared minus 1 is equal to 42. So let's call this our equation 1. Then also they are saying that if the fourth term is greater than the second term by 168. So here is the fourth term and here is the second term. If this is greater than this by 168, then it means we have to add 168 to this before it will be equal to this. Or we subtract 168 from this before it will be equal to this. So we have AR to the power 3 is equal to AR plus 168. Then we can rewrite this as AR cubed minus AR is equal to 168. We can further simplify this or factor it to write AR into bracket R squared minus 1 is equal to 168. Now let's call this equation 2. Now let's divide equation 2 by equation 1. Equation 2 divided by equation 1. So we are going to obtain AR into bracket R squared minus 1 over A into bracket R squared minus 1 is equal to 168 divided by 42. Now this will imply that this will cancel this and this will also cancel this. So this gives us our R to be equal to 4. So the common ratio is 4 because 168 divided by 42 is 4. Then to find our A, we put R into any of these equations, or let's say we put R into here. So we have A to be equal to 42 over R squared, which is 4 squared minus 1. And this will give us 42 over 15. Now we are asked to find the fourth term. So that is I for us. Now the II. The fourth term will be equal to, so use of 4 will be equal to A, which is 42 over 15 times R, which is 4 to the power 3. That is the fourth term. So this will be equal to 42 times 64 over 15. And this will give us 179 whole number 1 over 5. Question 11. The diagram is a right pyramid with a triangular base, PQR, and height Sn. If PQ is 6 centimeters, and these are 5 centimeters and are equal, then we have Pn. Pn is 3.3 centimeters. So this is 3.3 centimeters. Then and angle SP, and this angle over here is 52 degrees. 52 degrees. Calculate correct to two significant figures the vertical height Sn. So we are finding this height over here. Now let's take triangle PNS. So from triangle PNS, we can use trigonometry to find Sn. So we take the ratio that involves Sn. That will be the tangent of 52 degrees. So tan 52 degrees and 52 degrees will be equal to Sn over the adjacent, which is 3.3 centimeters. So the length of Sn will be equal to 3.3 times 52 degrees, and this will be equal to 4.224. So two significant figures will be equal to 4.2 centimeters. Now we want to find, so this is our I aspect. Then we are finding the area of the base PRQ. So PRQ is an isosceles triangle. Then the sides are 5, then we have 6 centimeters over here. So find the height of the isosceles triangle PR. Let's call this place N. This Rn will divide PQ into two equal parts. So this will be 3 centimeters. So this will be 3 centimeters. And this will also be 3 centimeters. So we use Pythagoras theorem to find Rn. So we know that Rn squared plus NQ squared will be equal to RQ squared. So we substitute the values. This is 3, this is 5. So we are going to get Rn squared to be equal to RQ squared, which is 5 squared, minus Qn squared, which is 3 squared. And this will give us 25 minus 9. And this will give us 16. So you have Rn to be equal to square root of 16, and that will give us 4. So now that this is 4, we know that the area of the triangle, so area of the isosceles triangle, area will be equal to half base times height. Half base, the base is 6, so half times 6 times the vertical height, which is 4. So this will give us 3 times 4, which is 12 centimeters squared, or 12 centimeters squared. Now we have been asked to find the volume of the whole pyramid, and we know volume of pyramid is equal to 1/3 times base area times height. That's the vertical height. So we'll find the vertical height already, which was Sn, and we found the base area already, which is area of triangle PRQ. So the volume will now be equal to 1/3 times 12 centimeters squared times the vertical height, which is, let's use 4.224 because we want the final answer to 2 significant figures. So we'll find our volume to be equal to 4 times 4.224, and this will give us 16.896 centimeter cube. So to 2 significant figures, we will get 17 centimeter cube. Now we are finding the angle between the slant face SPQ and the base PRQ of the pyramid. When we produce this line to meet this line, and we draw a line from the top to meet this line over here, we'll form a triangle like this. If we draw these triangles with this orientation, we are going to get a triangle like this. So we can see that, let's call this place T. You can see that this is N, this is S, and this is T. So this is the slant surface. I want to find the angle that it makes with this surface. So we are finding this angle over here. Let's call it theta. And we know Sn to be equal to 4.224. Then also we need to find Nt. And we know that from here to here is 3.3, and from here to here is 3 units. So if that is the case, then we can use Pythagoras theorem to find Nt over here. We know that this will be the hypotenuse now. So 3.3 squared will be equal to 3 squared plus Nt squared. So nt squared will be equal to 3.3 squared minus 3 squared, and this will give us 1.89. So nt will be equal to the square root of 1.89 and this will be equal to 1.375. So this is 1.375. So we use trigonometry to find this angle over here. So tan theta will be equal to opposite, which is 4.224 over 1.375, and this will be equal to 3.073. So theta will be equal to the tan inverse of 3.073, and this will be equal to 79. This will be equal to 79.972. Then to two significant figures, we are going to get 80 degrees. 80 degrees. Now, if you can still see this red thing here, it means you have not yet subscribed. So you just have to click it so that the next upload, you see it is still red. You have to click it so that if I upload the next video, you'll be informed. Click the bell icon too, so that you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.